Hello, guys. Welcome to Game Changers. I'm your host, Kayla, and we look at all the numbers behind women's sports. And today we're going to look at kind of why we want women's sports to grow, kind of why it's been kind of on the rise, which I think is super fun. So, yeah. I realized I did all of these and I forgot to attach my microphone. Cool. We'll do that next week because someone's going to fall asleep here soon if I already do all these. I literally had fun night Thursday, stayed up so late, got up super early this morning, and did everything that needed to be done. So, yeah, what is it? But I think it's quite interesting to look at the projections of women's sports. But we did kind of look at by 2030 it's supposed to be probably the fifth largest sport in the world, which is super exciting. Oh, my body's overheating. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, it's supposed to be the fifth largest sport. Obviously I think as a society we're kind of in a place of we recognize women's sports as sports. Um and kind of I think to respect the business model of it, right? To me, I like watching women. I think I just like watching women's sports better because it's they're a lot tougher. They're you can take a hit and they'll get right back up for the most part. Obviously there are some things where it's you don't that doesn't happen, but you still see it. So, um, but even there are some things now, even as women's sports are growing, right, we saw the NWSL jump and skyrocket. I've also seen for the WNBA, they're starting to grow, obviously from Caitlin Clark. I think though also people have to take with I'd say take this with a grain of salt because as the WNBA I think is growing, I honestly think it's just how do they want to grow? Because right, the NWSL they knew they're okay, this is kind of what we want to tackle next. This is how we want to grow, right? Well, the WNBA it's how can they continue to grow, right? How can they continue to keep going and growing and getting players and the league on the same page, and not butting heads, um, and prioritizing player. I even say prioritizing player safety, and working with the players and how they want to grow, right? Because I don't think a lot that's been going on with WNBA and all these things that have been going on. I don't think it's all the players' fault, but I also don't think it's all the league's fault either. Where it's come on there and say, oh, well, it's atrocious that it would even offer us this. These are things of we should be able to be no, we don't want that. This is how we can compromise, all that stuff. So a lot of these things of the business model, I think is just interesting. Which is kind of what the one thing I wanted to look at today. Oh wait, oops. Which I didn't really fully type it in. So this here is the business model for women's sports is evolving rapidly, driven by increasing popularity investments with commercial revenue, particularly sponsorship as the primary driver. Growth is fueled by rising fan engagement, brand recognition, and sponsorship deals. Um, the elite revenue for women's sports to reach 2.3 billion in 2025, up from 1.88 billion in 2024. Sponsorship brand deals and partnerships are the source of revenue, with expected 1.26 billion in 2025. Broadcasting revenue, increased media right deals are contributing to growth in sports, with 590 million projected for 2025. Match day revenue, attendance at games, fan engagement, merchandise, investment, diverse revenue streams, and then, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think that's all I have for today. As I think I need to call it a day and end the day. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's little mini episode. And I will see you guys next week with a brand new episode. Peace.